And this is probably where I lose the rest of subscriber is going to be a term of the past. This is probably where I lose everybody. Not everybody. Um Everything is coming full circle. Like everything is coming full circle. So I feel like we're at this culmination point of like everything. And I feel like I've been spoon fed this reality, like this now reality. I feel like I've been spoon fed this present reality for a long time. And it was the concept that humans are largely reptilian. Obviously, reptilian brain. There's this like war between these positive reptilian races and these negative reptilian races. And I always said, the way a human being looks is like as if a reptilian and a gray made a hybrid. That's what a human being looks like. A human being looks like as if a reptilian and a human combined. Um, I just came out of a deep meditation and I'm gonna lose everybody at this point, but I don't care. Um, it's been like a slow reveal. Like this war is so old. The war that we're in is so old. It's so old. And the war for your soul is so old. It's so old. So while we are here in a human skin, our like the people who like had the best intentions for our lives way back in the day, before they put human skin on, maybe they never put human skin on. They are not human, okay? They're reptilian. And I don't think it's any wonder that all this time, it's like all this time with James Casbolt, the way he is looking human, creating, depicting all of this artwork of a reptilian looking man. All of this artwork that he's been making, and he's basically been saying all this time, this is who I really am. From our uneducated standpoint, we're just like thinking it's just artwork. But he's been telling us all this time, creating images, painting images, reanimating images. Like, he's like, this is who I really am, a reptilian man, a reptilian person. If you go back to his first book, at the very end of the first book, at the very end, like the last paragraph is about him encountering the reptilian race. That's like, you're going to go and do this, and you're going to win, basically. That's who he really is. I mean, translated into human form. That's who he really is. So it blows my mind. The serpent in the garden, like if everything is a lie, except Jesus Christ is not a lie, and I'm going to get to it. He's not a lie. The serpent in the garden was likely the actual, I can already feel the hate, was likely actually had the best intentions for Eve. It's likely that the serpent in the garden was the one who had the best intentions for Eve. If you think about it, this modern day and age, they're like, oh, don't go into the knowledge. Don't go into the knowledge. Because if you went into the knowledge, then you would be going along with the serpent. And I have been wondering this for a long time. If I like didn't go into the knowledge, would I just be like sitting here just miserable and obedient to this fleshly man? You look around, you don't see men that are not incredibly flawed men. And they're supposed to be the offsprings of Adam. I am convinced that the serpent was the entity that actually had Eve's best intentions for her life. And wouldn't it make sense? Because the narrative is the opposite, the complete opposite. And then that brings us to understand that this war is old. We are wrapping up a cycle of time that is super old. It's super old. It's a very old timeline that we're wrapping up. Why was Adam so retarded? Like, we're looking out into the world at these men who are supposed to be like eligible men for us, and they're wearing human skin. They're looking human as can be, but they're so retarded. They're just like banging Lilith. They're just on their phones. They're just eating McDonald's. They're just like forfeiting everything that makes a woman a helper. They're doing the worst. They're doing the most. Because perhaps it was for woman to go to God first. And wouldn't it be weird to find out that God is not Adam? Wouldn't it be weird to find out that God, in if he took any kind of form, like in this modern day and age, wouldn't it be weird to find out that he was likely the serpent? And wouldn't it make sense that everything is a freaking lie? That the serpent in the garden actually had Eve's best intention? Doesn't it actually make more sense that the serpent in the garden had better intentions for Eve than retarded ass Adam? Why the F did Eve eat that apple? I mean, we don't know the story exactly, but I think it's because Adam was retarded. I think it's because Adam was actually the devil. Why are all these men just sitting watching porn, eating McDonald's, doing whatever the fuck, hiring a maid to clean their house instead of actually having a wife? How come all these men are in physical form? Like, they took physical form, but they're retarded. James Caswell is the only man who took physical form, but he's depicted in his books and in his artwork that he's not actually human, because we would have a knee-jerk reaction to that scenario. Obviously, we as human beings, lesser than, we would have a knee-jerk reaction. So we just think it's art, right? We just think it's a story. We just think it's art. Meanwhile, he's literally not human. Not human. And how come these men don't act right? Because they're the offspring of Adam. When we say that Cain and Abel were birthed out of Adam and Eve, I believe that Cain is actually Adam. Cain is actually Adam's seed. Why? Because all the sons of Cain do the dumb fuck shit that, excuse my language, but do the dumb fuck shit that Adam did. I believe Adam did the dumb fuck thing. I believe that Adam is actually the effing a-hole. And I believe that the serpent actually had Eve's best intention. Why? Because we're at the end times. Like, no one denies it. We're at the end. We're in the end. So what are we doing in the end? It are human men just like coming around like, oh, we're the heroes. Nope, they're getting worse. They're getting way worse. Is God taking over and women taking direction from God? Yes. Does God have a form? No. God doesn't have a form for us. Because perhaps in the beginning of our story, the form would be virtually terrifying to us. To actually consider the fact that the serpent in the garden was actually having Eve's best intentions is actually terrifying to people. And it's actually the opposite of the story. It's actually the opposite of the story. So wouldn't most people be like, "No, wait, are you kidding me? Do you think Adam and Eve is a good love story? Adam was a retard. Adam was retarded. He was a dumb man." Do you think the serpent would have ever gone off with Lilith? Nope. The serpent would have never gone off with Lilith. Think about it. The serpent would have never gone off with Lilith. Adam was the fallen entity. So we've been living in this reality where we've been stuck here with the Adams and the Eves, as the Eves with the Adams, all the while being fed this story that the serpent was somehow the bad guy, that the serpent was somehow the enemy. Meanwhile, men can't seem to act right. They keep going to war, warring after war after war after war. They created money, they created capitalism, they created everything. They're the ones that have done the most bullshit nonsense to creation. And the women have been left alone with God or left with these a-holes, and then our only salvation was God. And so I ask, well, is Jesus Christ reptilian? 100%. That was the spirit. So Adam was a dumbass. I believe Jesus Christ was the spirit of the serpent with human skin on. He was the beginning. Jesus Christ was the spirit of the serpent finally getting human skin, finally getting a human entity, finally getting a human appearance. But before he was Jesus Christ, he was not human. Adam was the asshole. Adam was the POS. Adam was the enemy. That's why Adam is still the enemy. That's why Cain is still the enemy. Jesus Christ was the first human form of God because before Jesus Christ, he was not human. He was the serpent in the garden. The serpent in the garden had better intentions for Eve than Adam did. First of all, did Adam have any intentions for Eve? No. Not that I'm aware of. Did he have any intentions for Eve? I don't think Adam had any intentions for Eve. I think he was just retarded. And the only reason I think that is because look at the way men act in this world. They're just retarded. Like they will just bang any random whore. They like Adam just went and dated Lilith. Obviously, he wasn't superior because he ended up with Lilith. Obviously, that's not it. And then obviously, the serpent wouldn't take an apple from Eve because he knew better. Adam took the apple from Eve because he was retarded, because the men are fallen, because the fallen nature of men was actually within Adam. And the true nature of the best of us actually came from what the serpent provided in the garden. And Jesus Christ was the first human form of that entity. Everything we know is a lie. Everything we've been fed is BS. In the way that we can check, the way we can fact check this is everything that I'm saying. It sounds crazy because of the stupid story that we've been fed, but the way that you can fact check it is look at men in the world. Are they not acting like retarded ass Adam in the story? Are they not acting like deceived Adam? And if woman is left alone because the man has been crazy and she's going directly to God, doesn't God seem to be a lot more like the serpent feeding her wisdom, the apple of knowledge? And how come the men of the world get pissed off when the women are given the apple of knowledge? They're the ones flipping out. Is this like Satan figure flipping out? No, it's Adam. He's the piece of crap. So before God split into two, gave us the Adam and Eve, we have this illusion that Adam is somehow the good guy. I think he's actually the devil, and I think the serpent is actually the one who had the best intentions for women, for humanity, and his first human form was that of Jesus Christ. That's why Jesus Christ was like a new human. He was like a new person because he was the first human form out of the serpent in the garden. The serpent in the garden had way better intentions for Eve and her life than Adam ever could. Because if you think about it, Adam was just an idiot. And aren't we dealing with men who are just idiots? Everything is a lie. This is the truth. This is the truth. I think I made my point.